Hello, and welcome everyone to D6, where I, RCM, bring together several friends from across the internet to play on a D&D live stream show. How y'all doing today?
I don't have to worry about the spotlight on me no more. It's like a weight's been lifted.
We're going back to school, fam.
Good luck, Daito.
Being a teacher.
It's gonna be great. I'm so ready for this.
Any which way, you guys will have plenty of time to prepare, trust you me. First and foremost, I do have a quick announcement. Considering for anyone that is catching up on the show or watching the show or finding us for the very first time, if you hear me make an announcement, it is probably about 2 weeks off, given our recording schedule is generally to try and at least have one in the backlog just in case if something happens. Quite luckily, we've been relatively consistent since the beginning of this year. It's been great. But in ever of that case, one of these major announcements is that the podcast is finally all catched up. We're all good. We should be fine. For us, episode 37 finally went up. So by the time this episode comes out, this episode will probably be the announced version for that podcast or something like that. Anyways, for us, this is episode 40. The big 4-0. And we got a little bit more time with the rest of this series, but I am so excited. Quite honestly, for the way this campaign has been running, it's been very interesting as an experience for me and with you guys, and hopefully whatever will happen towards the end of the story will happen, but I really can't thank you guys enough. Like, most games can usually fall off after this point, and it hasn't, and that's been very nice. That being said, I don't think I have any other announcements. Yeah, I think that's about it. How y'all feel about green beans?
They're alright.
Oh,
very green.
Fantastic when you dip them in tempura batter.
Alright, well then, let's jump into tonight's episode of D6.
Weren't expecting an answer, were you?
Jade's already ready for those comebacks.
I'm ready for the green bean answers.
Alright. So, where we had last left off, as our adventurers finally, after defeating a Sov and releasing him back into the fields of Elysium, where he can finally rest, and fighting off against Citra's grandfather, who had tried to take over Celsium, you all return back to the main capital of Bovaka, where you had met with the Sultan and gained favor of him. After which you all had to rush back over the course of a week to the EHS, the Adamantine Bastion, where you had come to learn and find out that Alouise Azure has gone off the grid and have no idea where they are right now, aside from the notion of where they last were, which is the Academy, or the Tharum Scholars, often referred to, in Volenston, in hopes to try and find somebody. However, due to Alouise Azure being lost, his recall initiative had been made, and every member of the Black Archives had returned back to their headquarters and are awaiting for a response from a Leodon Farcloud in order to move once again. As such, you have all been tasked to go deep undercover into Dawining Academy. And over the course of this next week, you are beginning to learn what it is to be teachers and students.
Oh boy.
Yes. So, in order to try and find Alouise Azure, you all are spending a bit of time here within the EHS, preparing for what will come next. So. Oh, also, Burra, the way your story had gone, as Burra's mother had reclaimed Bura's father and putting him to death for his actions that had brought dishonor to the family name of Rikuyo. Bura, heavy-hearted, putting his father out of his misery, returning back to the EHS with a very cryptic message from the Raven Queen. That's where we last left off. So, it is a new day. EHS is hustling and bustling. You all awaken and find yourselves having breakfast within the usual cafeteria area. You can hear the faint hits and pings and the arguments coming from the local artificers, as well as a very moving library area of the EHS. So, as you guys sit and discuss what your plans are after the course of this week, I'll leave the rest to you. I'll give you guys some time to discuss among yourselves.
Yeah.
All right. How much do we know of the where can we find out like what the course study syllabuses are for the Dawn Academy?
Have any of you actually been in a college before? Because I was homeschooled.
Yeah, I have.
Yep.
I was at an art school, but I'm not going to tell you what I did there.
Painting?
Well, obviously painting, but other things.
That's a definitive no for me.
Yeah. Turns to college, going to college.
Yeah, I, again, homeschooled, so this is, this'll be interesting.
Also, Dante, for your question, make a history check.
Okay, one sec. Let me go back to my... Oh, let me see if I can... I think I can.
Yeah. I will say this.
Oh, that is a nat 1, baby.
So here's the thing about Dawining Academy is that it is one of the biggest schools within the major continents between Alanon and Volenstan. Considering that it is a capital school, it is also a private academy where a lot of what happens behind its walls are often kept behind its walls, and even the alumnus that come out of it often don't talk too much about their experience there. Mainly because that they're often recruited directly into the military or certain other departments that are within the loop of Volenstan.
Wait, I do know one person I can ask this from. I can ask,
Helen.
Helen.
That's true.
I think Haley had a bit of knowledge on it. She was explaining it a little bit, but it was Helen that was like, it's no good. It's bad news bears.
She straight up came from that academy.
Yeah.
This is true.
Alright, so Dante's gonna go to Helen to ask her about what the course study is for this academy. Yeah. Like what to expect, whether or not they have an arts department at all.
Yeah. Also, I've already explained to you what the two things that I want to do. So just to save time, whenever if you can fit that in.
Okay. Sure that you messaged it to me.
Oh no, I talked to you about it.
You talked to me about it, but DM brain is active right now.
Talking to both Haley and Harleen.
Yeah. The thing with Haley and
Harleen, yeah.
Harleen, yeah. Okay. All right. Anything else you other two would like to do? Leodon and Burra.
I guess I'm brushing up on my flora and fauna.
I mean, given your natural, your passive nature, and also your, I guess, just general overall knowledge of nature, you have a higher than average understanding of flora and fauna. The more experienced aspect is understanding the magics of nature. If that makes sense.
if you want to practice, see how you do teaching-wise, you can try teaching me. I was homeschooled after all, at least. I can understand that much. At least in the magic department.
That's probably going to be my biggest hurdle, is actually imparting this.
Yeah, so I can tell you if
information.
it makes sense.
Okay.
And as for... But, you're fighting? I'm not sure you're gonna be fighting the students, but teaching it?
Raw
I
is
mean,
just
you could teach me how to do hand-to-hand combat.
I can teach you that.
yo. Raw is just gonna sulk for a while. That's all.
Teacher just kind of like gives him a gentle pat with her hand, just...
Raw continues just looking, sulking, looking at the ground, just dead.
Were we informed of what he did last session?
I don't think so.
That's
No.
up to Daito to have Buddha
Yeah.
say, so I like, that's why teacher's just patting him, she doesn't know what's going on.
Dante's
But
gonna
like,
roll
the look
insight.
of grief is pretty obvious. Yeah,
Did Dante roll insight on this?
can we both?
Yeah, well, here's
I mean,
the thing.
Well, would this be more perception or insight?
This is insight, and you guys do have a naturally passive insight, but Bora, make a
Is it deception?
no, this is not deception because he's not trying to hide his feelings, he's just not talking about them. Make a performance check.
18.
18.
Okay, let me see if I can try that. Yeah!
With insight?
Yep.
Yeah, 16.
Just to see. 24.
Citra, you can tell there is something obviously wrong with Bora. Because over the course of this past year, you have noticed him open up a lot more and be very friendly and show trust between all of you. The fact that he sees you guys as family. This is the most closed off he has been since he first met you.
Ooh. If that's the case, because like I guess we're still in like the cafeteria area, right? She just kind of leaned in close to him real quick, going, "I won't pry, but if you need to talk, I'll listen."
Raw
don't
is
have-
just Raw is silent.
Yeah, she's not making him say anything. She's just giving him the option, because I mean, he now lost his brother and his dad. Citra just lost Sav, so things are going a little rough right now.
Mm-hmm.
But she knows better than to prod and push, so.
Dante's gonna be like, lean over to Leo. I guess he's nervous about becoming a teacher.
I mean,
Obviously he didn't catch on to what's going on, so he's gonna go for the next thing that he does know.
yeah.
Maybe?
I guess I should let you guys know what's gonna be happening today, too. Given that Azure's gone, and that's making me feel a little sick about it, to be honest. Like, nervous. I did kind of promise Haley I'd kind of keep her up to date about what's going on, but also, God forbids we don't have Azure. Harleen's basically the only other person that's got our backs, so I kind of need to come clean to her about things.
Ooh.
Wait,
And she'll
does
like
Dante-
point about the Halo thing. You know?
Wait. Does Dante know that I fucked things up last session?
Wait,
What?
fuck things up last session?
Like me trying to be a wingman, I messed things up.
Oh, you mean with
Dante
Haley?
wouldn't know. Yeah,
no,
Dante
Dante
wouldn't
didn't know.
Haley might know, but Dante wouldn't know.
Bra gets up. Wait. Bra gets up. He put his hand on Dante's shoulder, and he just mutters, I'm sorry. And then just walks off.
Why is it gotta be cryptic?
Wait. What?
Did he just apologize for something?
Yes, but I'm not sure what.
Something really is wrong.
What did he do to me?
Usually that's usually my shtick.
What does he mean? What does he mean? Nice.
What does he mean? What does it mean?
Alright, so as Citra and Leodon, you guys are gonna plan a bit on what happens, but I'm gonna start with Dante real quick.
Yeah.
Dante, as you walk over to what is the workshop area of our wonderful two artificers, you can see Olivier as he is very much still working well and ahead at a particular project, and you can see as Helen is currently working with her chemicals and various other things in hand before they both acknowledge, and Olivier's like, Master Dante, it is good to see you again.
It's good to see you, Olivier. Good to see you, Helen.
Helen is over there. I am Olivier.
Well, I was looking over at Helen, so...
And
I need to
you can
speak
see
to
as she
Helen.
slowly turns around with a bright smile on her face. Oh, good. Somebody's actually here to see me.
Wait,
Well, darling, what is it that you could possibly need from good old Helen?
question. Was I told of the success of the
antidote?
The antidote, yeah. Was I told of the success of the antidote, or is that message not reached Dante yet?
It's not reached onto yet, but considering that information takes a while to pass through, especially considering the state of Kilixmeyer at the moment.
Okay. Alright, so he doesn't know. So he's gonna ask, Helen, so we're gonna have to infiltrate the Dawn Academy soon, and I was wondering if you knew anything about the course, structure, or, what, I don't know, curriculars are offered?
It is not my favorite conversation to have, in case you might not understand. There's a reason why I left the Tharum Scholars, and why I'm not much of a fan of the Academy either. Of course, it has been some time since then, but I am assured to the notion that there's a level of uncomfortability when it comes to talking about the subject. They do have multiple curriculars, ones that are more prone to using both magic and combative skills. Those with natural magical abilities are automatically admitted. This is mainly to reinforce their mage-like armies. And people like me with very high intellects have to take a certain course in order to achieve the right to join the academy. Of course, the multiple curriculars, at least the main ones, the Botany and Druidic Studies Department, the Combat Arts and Physical Training Department, Realm History and Extra Realm Observation Department, the Sciences and Magical Sciences Department, and the Magic and Major Craft Department. Those are where a lot of the major curriculars are. Of course, there are bardic and crafting arts departments as well, but those are not as well funded for obvious reasons. But
cool. So all I gotta do is make a good painting for that one, since it's not well funded.
Getting into the class is kind of like an extracurricular, if you ask me. It's something that you take off to the side. It's not really well thought of. Those who take those classes and decide to find whatever path that it may follow are not encouraged to.
Damn it. arts are always cut out of everything.
It's the natural way of the world, unfortunately.
And yet it's the one that keeps life alive.
Yes, well, all things considered, there is painting, music theater, dance, and blacksmithing.
Nice. Alright, well, at least one of those has to be an extracurricular. I gotta choose one of the main ones to study up on at least.
Hmm.
Helen, can
Considering
I
that
ask for advice?
this is an infiltration mission, I recommend trying to spread your wings as best you can.
Alright. Which department do you think I would best fit in?
For you, more than likely combat arts, and more than combat arts, maybe magic and magecraft, depending on if you have such abilities. Of course, if you are inclined to, painting is often a usually easier course to take in. I did take it myself in order to find myself in certain centered areas, but I have long since forgotten the skills.
Ah, fellow painter.
I mean, there are also general classes as well, but I mean, you'll be taking those no matter what you do.
Alright, well, I guess I better hit the books.
Very well. Hopefully this information might serve you well. Is there anything else that you could possibly need of me and not Olivier? And you can see as the giant robot head turns.
The amount of shade.
Alright, no, nothing else from you, but Olivier,
Ah, yes, Mr. Dante.
I'm gonna need a couple more of those, flame burst arrows.
Very well. It will take
This
some time
one-
to develop it, but it can be done.
Alright, and how much is that gonna cost, bud?
We'll put it at 25 gold apiece.
25 gold apiece. Alright, I will do 4.
Very well. I'll have it done
Alright.
before the end of the week.
Alright, and then let me take out 100 gold, baby.
Yeah. You guys got paid.
Okay. We did get paid. Okay, so we
Yeah.
got removed. There we go. Alright, and that's it for Dante for right now. You're gonna start
Alrighty.
heading towards the library.
Alright. That being said, Dante, sorry, Citra and Leo.
Yep.
You two,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Well, I believe Citra offered that he could try seeing how he can maybe practice teaching what he knows to another spellcaster. Thus, her. I mean, she didn't go to a college, but she was still homeschooled, especially on not only just the general histories of her and culture of her place, but like magic also came along with it because she was innate to magic. It's like knowing how to do magic versus teaching it are two different things.
Oh yeah.
Leo sort of like scratches his head. Well, the way I learned was by doing. My father, my adoptive father, taught me much of what I know.
Do you remember how he taught you?
He would bring me on hunts.
I don't think you're gonna get that option.
Exactly.
Well,
Which is why this is going to pose a bit of a problem.
have you ever sat there with your magic and kind of feel how it works? And then try maybe writing it down? So that way it makes sense from up here, she points to your head, to here, which is speaking.
No, I haven't quite trade that. I could, I suppose.
Is Ignis around, by the way?
He's probably around the Adamantine Bastion. God knows how and where.
I mean, if anyone can maybe teach magic like that, I would say maybe we can talk to Ignis on at least how to teach it. He might have a few pointers, because he was teaching me earlier.
Maybe, but you are both, magic is inherent in your blood.
You still need to know how to use it.
True. Alright, let's pay him a visit.
He might be able to help you at least on how to teach it, how to make it make sense in words.
Anything would help at this point.
Alright. As you guys decide to travel into the Adamantine Bastion, as you head into the Adamantine Bastion and you hit the hustle and bustle of the city, my goodness, you find yourselves slightly deepened within one of the residential areas where you had initially found him, Citra.
Mm-hmm.
After a bit of talking to some of the locals, you begin to note that there is a man dressed in mostly all red, currently working on a building not too far from where you guys are. After a bit of walking, you can see that there is just what looks like to be a very heavily dressed down Fire Genasi man with his hair fully pulled back and tied in what looks like to be this headband, and kind of just wearing a half chef's attire. As you can see, there are two Lumerian individuals kind of just like helping put this wooden sign on the doors, like, no, a little to the left. To the left, my left. Yes, left.
Citra just casts a minor, mage hand to, push it that slightly bit for him.
As it just finally goes, it's like, oh, perfect. Oh, fantissimo. Friends, it is good to see you all once again.
It's good to see you're doing well.
Oh, yes, I'm finally opening up one of my most, something I've always wanted to try is hibachi, but, gotta actually have a shop in order to do that, yeah?
Yeah. Would you happen to have a little bit of time?
And you can see as the two Lemurians with, scowls on their faces. I'm sure they wouldn't mind, right? You guys wouldn't mind as we could use a break. Give him a break. Come on inside. The place isn't actually completely done, but we're working on it. We...
Pivot!
As you guys walk inside of what looks like to be a very open floor concept with what looks like to be this large griddled area, as well as several chairs where what hopefully might be a brand new restaurant to open up here soon. As you guys take a seat, he sits down and it's just like, well then, it has been quite some time since I last seen you all. Have things been going well with your missions?
It ended better than we hoped, yes. Just hit a few bumps. But we're doing all right. She looks to Leo right? She doesn't know how she feels about whatever happened.
Remembers bruh getting disintegrated.
Yeah. Well, he knew about that at that point because she did talk to him. It's going as well as one can with a lot of chaos happening around us.
Certainly better than they were.
No one... well...
You guys are acting really strange, and I think it's kind of adorable, but, clock's ticking, you guys.
Yeah. So, you remember when you were teaching me earlier before we had left on our next mission?
Oh, of course.
So this mission requires us to basically infiltrate a college, and Leo has the task of being a teacher, and he's not sure how to go about it, and I figured you probably would be best at it, because yes, our magic specifically is innate to us, but you still gotta learn and teach it at some point.
This is very true. Believe it or not, I actually did schooling myself. It's a time and practice sort of thing, you know? You learn through past knowledge. But for the sake of teaching, it's about understanding the core concepts of what it is you're teaching. What is what you are teaching?
Well, I've been given to learn that my courses are going to be covering a lot of natural stuff, such as nature and possibly even nature magic.
Botany was the term?
Botany.
Well, if you already have a general passive knowledge of what botany might already be, all you really have to do is just describe what is going to be extremely useful to what are going to be students that will want to have a general idea of how these sorts of things will be useful for them in the future. If you're talking about druidic magics, it's the same for us. Anyone with the capacity for magic. Teaching druidic magics is understanding its core components. You know, between knowing what ingredients or teaching what dangers are ahead for misuse of these kinds of magics. You want to set the example by performing these sorts of tasks and various magics. Learn how to create individuals that might want to survive on, let's say, I guess for you, good berries. You know? Good passive food every now and again. But, you know, understanding how to purify water and food, anything that is going to be extremely useful to those who are about to leave into the wide and open world.
You know, I've been gearing myself towards fighting for so long, I actually forgot I could do most of that.
But yet you just cast magic normally, like as if not thinking on the battlefield too.
Well, a lot of that is instinct.
Perhaps that might be something good to teach. Instinct.
Mm-hmm.
If you're talking about nature and nature itself, think of how anything that survives in nature survives with pure instinct. Perhaps that could be the core of your class.
I mean, you are going to be the teacher, so you have control of that.
Suppose I could try that route.
Teach them the knowledge that they will need, and then teach them how to act on instinct. I think that might suit you relatively well. Well, that being said, I do have much work ahead of me, but I do wish you all the best of luck.
We hope to try out your food soon, too.
Oh, I do have a couple of good recipes beginning to plan up. As he begins to kind of rummage through some of his pockets, and he pulls out with what looks like to be this small little crystal in hand. I have been known to be called upon here and there. I'm going to hand you this as he pushes it over to the side of the table to you two. In ever the case of emergencies, of course. Do not call me unless it's absolutely dire.
Of course. In player terms, what is this that he's handing us?
it's a calling stone. Basically, what you can do is that if you crush it in hand, it will alert him and he will come to you.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, teleportation magic is relatively easy nowadays.
Teacher's like, I don't know how any of that works.
Oh, maybe one day.
Maybe.
Well then, that being said, work must still be done.
Absolutely.
All right.
Wish you
Well
the
then.
best.
Wish you all
Thank
the
you
best as
for
well.
your time.
No problem. As he leads you both out into the main streets once more, and he gives you guys a wave. You can see the two slightly begrudging Lumerians coming back. It's like, all right. I mean, we could go inside if you want something.
I really hope they don't hurt him.
All right. So, as both of you, with the information now at hand, you guys leading yourselves back to the EHS. Bora, what are you doing?
He is just walking around and wondering about the sin that he committed involving his father. He just has like a dead look in his eyes. Just aimlessly wandering around. He's not even concerned about the fact that he's teaching students. He just keeps thinking about what he did and the fact and that he's just a pawn and for his mother and for the Raven Queen. Just want until he comes across. He just leans against the nearest object and just slumps to the ground. Can I even escape from this? There has to be something.
As you're kind of just slumping around and kind of just slogging around the EHS, several individuals come passing by until as you're just staring at the floor, a couple of feet just walk up to you, the heavy heel sound as it clatters across the cobblestone as it stops in front of you. Agent Burrow Watson.
What's it to you?
As you look up, it is Harlane.
Oh.
Care to explain why you're sulking around?
You ain't here.
You'd be surprised. She reaches out a hand towards you.
Raw grabs the hand.
Alright. She pulls you up to your feet. I know you're dead, but at least I've never seen you this level of dead.
I guess I just have a lot on my mind.
Don't we all? Come, walk with me, talk with me. As she begins to kind of lead you with a hand on your back and just climb up the stairs out into the major part of the Adamantine Bastion.
I don't know. Did my mother tell you about this? About what I just did?
I was well and aware that your father was set to be executed, but when your mother had told me what her intention, why she was awaiting for your arrival, made me uncertain if whether or not that you could go through with it. I'm assuming you did.
Did I really have a choice? You know, that's the thing I've been wondering about. Choice. I didn't have a choice saving my dad. Whether or not to kill my dad or not. Didn't have a choice to serve the Raven Queen. It just makes me wonder. Do I really have a choice with anything in my life?
Master Watson, I think that you've created the illusion that you have no choice at all. Let me ask you a very particular question. Consider all the events that had led up to the moment that you are now. Did you ever say yes or no to anything?
A few times.
Let me be more specific. Did you say yes when the Raven Queen offered you the opportunity to come back as a revenant? Would you not have ever considered the option that maybe you could have just passed on and died with at least some semblance of humanity instead of coming back as a revenant?
It didn't cross my mind because I was just focused on seeing my friends again.
Then that's a choice that you decided to make. You made a deal and you agreed to it. And now you have to accept the responsibilities of those choices. And trust you me, I know a lot about that. Given my position, I have seen many, many agents die over the course of my lifetime. And as one can considering what I am, a lot of bodies have filled many graves through these eyes. As you guys begin to walk along the streets once more and kind of cross and pass in front of what looks like to be an open field that leads into what is this giant farming area that creates the Adamantine Bastion, right, which is right after what is the residential area. You agreed to become an agent. You decided that you wanted to join the EHS. Whether or not that decision was designed through coercion, you still said yes. Your name is in ink. When your mother offered and told you that it is your responsibility as a Rakuyo to kill your father, you could have said no. Of course, you would gain the scorn of your mother. But how much does her opinion truly matter to you? Considering that you accepted the offer and that the responsibility had fallen on the second son, I suppose her opinion matters a lot.
Bro just sucks his teeth.
You have every right to make the choices you make. Responsibility comes along with those choices. Consequences come with choices. Whether or not that they are yours, the illusion of choice can be the equal illusion of no choice at all. Whether you agree or disagree is up to you. As you both round out back into the residential area, as you can see with what looks like to be a long line of individuals being helped along, and what you can see, one of these individuals is this white-haired, light blue-skinned woman kind of just floating around and assisting with creating housing here within the Adamantine Bastion. As she stares at that woman. Master Bora, I'm going to tell you this a truth. A woman over there is a choice that I also make, and I accept that responsibility every single day.
What do you mean?
I keep her away from the very dangers that I put you all through. Even though I know full damn well that she could take care of herself. I can only imagine what my life would truly be like without her. And that's the choice that I have to make. The illusion of it all is that I know that she doesn't need me. And yet I still make the choice to keep her out of danger.
So what you're saying is, no matter what choice I make, I'm not free from consequence whatsoever?
Nobody ever is. Consequences. Rewards. Your actions. Your agreements. Responsibility. That is the core of every choice. If you decide to fight your own war, that is your choice, but the repercussions of them are also your choice. Hopefully that clears things up.
Partially.
As she puts a hand on your back and pulls you away from the rest of those people. I make the choice to send you all out there knowing full damn well that there is a chance that you might not come back. And this is the reason why I make every effort to prepare you ahead of time. The reason why Alois Azure is so important is due to the fact that his information can keep you all safe. And now that we lack that, we are flying blind into the unknown. And any decision I decide to make could very well lead to your doom. I know this all too well. So if it makes you feel any better, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen when we take action. Just that whatever deciding factor that we decide to make is up to us. By the time you guys hit with what looks like to be the center main street that leads up towards the castle and back towards the EHS in another direction. So, Mr. Watson, what is your choice?
I guess my choice is to just keep moving forward.
It's good to hear. Well then, shall we return back?
Yep.
And she grabs hold of your shoulder and just slightly leads you back into the EHS as all of you culminate back down into what looks like to be this, what is the general area for your guys' department. And as all of you slowly reculminate your way back here as the day reaches a little bit into the late afternoon. Is there anything else that you guys would like to take care of?
Citra just needs to speak with Haley and Harleen currently. But at this point I feel like they were just discussing, like, seeing how Leo was feeling about the whole thing and deciding that he should hold on to that crystal. It just seems like you should hold on to that. It seems a little fragile.
You done? Connor?
Sure.
I mean, in the end, you're still technically de facto leader, as you say.
Well,
I mean, you're doing a pretty good job of it.
Oh.
Listen, I had to make decisions for the group while you got kidnapped once. I hated all of it. I give you credit.
It's...
It was a lot. Like, you see that faraway look in her eyes for a second, like...
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Team healer, and then suddenly I have to help lead them? No, thank you.
Well then, as all of you culminate, Citra, as you find yourself kind of breaking off from the rest of the group, you do take note that there is a Haley that's just looking at a book that is almost far different than the rest of the others.
Citra just quietly steps forward and tilts her head before just kind of clearing her throat so she doesn't, like, spook her at least.
As you do, she looks up. Oh! Citra?
Hi, Haley. What you reading?
Less reading, more reminiscing.
Oh?
As she puts the book down, you can see with what looks like to be a couple of pictures of something that is old. Some art that was taken before the fall of the Maria, my family.
Oh. It's beautiful.
As you stare at the pictures, you can see each one is just very specific, but you can see in a second picture one of the persons is missing. Yes. I'm still quite lucky that I still have my mother, but not where my father had gone, and well, my brother had always been an outcast.
I mean, it could be worse. You could have an uncle that wants you dead. She's just kind of like giving hints to what happened out there in Elysium.
Citra, as you stare at these pictures, I need you to make a history check.
Yay, my +7 and expertise. 25.
There is... Looking at these photos, or what looks like to be the artist's interpretation of what was this old family, the luminaries you can see with what looks like to be a woman that is very much reminiscent of a slightly older Haley. Of course, with her own particular features, as well as this rather astute-looking man. However, the brother looks oddly familiar.
How oddly familiar.
Oh no.
You have seen that face a couple of times before. But it's different. The face is more taut, but fuller. You have the sneaking suspicion that if this young man were bald...
Oh no.
Azure?
No.
Oh, okay. I remember one bald man. Or man in quotations, but...
Do you know who sent you to the dunes? Do you know who you hid behind me for when we went to the mansion?
Lockerell?
You get the faint and sneaking suspicion, yeah.
And she'll kind of she has that very tense, confused look of recognition on her face. She's an open book with her emotions, so. Haley, I don't mean to who's that specifically?
Oh, that's my brother, Carl.
This may sound a little crazy, but I feel I've met him before. Several times. He looks like High Lord Lockerell.
I suppose I do have a sneaking suspicion that since I couldn't find my brother or my father, they could have
Haley,
potentially...
Lockerell's name was in the book that came with the what do you call it? The Amulet of the Red King. That we found in the mansion that we weren't supposed to be in, but we were.
You can see that there's a slight blankness. And you can see as she just quickly stands up.
I'm sorry, I didn't...
No. It's a thought. Excuse me. As she slightly gathers a few things and quickly walks off.
She's not gonna stop her. She feels like she really fucked up.
See that for the first time in a while, this library is silent.
She's not gonna push her.
Yeah. I mean, she's already walked off, and...
Yeah. So, I guess her only other thing is to go upstairs and speak with Harleen, but boy does she feel like shit for it, but at the same time, she doesn't feel like keeping that a secret is a good thing either.
As you do, you walk up and you can see with what looks like to be a very contemplative Harleen. As she's staring out the large window that stares down into the endless blue.
Yeah, she knows better than to sneak up on her, so she'll just, excuse me, ma'am?
Ah, Agent Idlewind. I had just finished speaking with Master Watson.
Oh?
Yes. It
I'm
seems
hoping
like I've...
He opened up a little bit.
I think he was having an existential crisis.
Aren't we all?
I find it kind of odd for a dead man, but...
He's still himself, despite being physically dead. The soul lingers on.
I'm aware.
There's something I wish to speak to you about, but it does require a bit of privacy if you have the time. Like, she looks very, you can see that she's trying to speak with confidence, but there's that obvious, concern.
You can tell that the look on her face as she turns around. Then privacy shall be given. As the hand waves, you see as the large walls that create, or what is that wide opening that creates the opening of this office? As stones begin to slide close behind you.
Well, that's a nifty spell.
Something that is afforded to most directors is a level of security and privacy.
Understood. I'm afraid I withheld earlier when we were debriefing earlier, and I apologize. Because it's a bit connected to something else that I've been afraid to talk about until I had more knowledge of the situation.
It was a sneaking suspicion.
Yeah. But because Azure is gone, and this is a very, honestly terrifying situation, you are the one that has our backs right now. And as from what I can see, secrets have done nothing but cause problems. So she, like, reaches into her bag and she places the 4 shards in front of her. I told you about Sav earlier, and he was the first Sultan of Acelsium, and he was the one that destroyed the Wand of Orcus. We had to fight him in order to prove that we would be strong enough to be handed these, because these were within his weapon, which he used to destroy that one. And he gave us very clear instructions that these would have to be created under created under the moon's
under a forge, under a forge of the moon, and blessed by death.
4 shards, 4 members of the Azure Crest.
Given the circumstances of understanding the importance of these fragments, it would not be beyond me to confiscate them immediately, as per our contract.
Yeah.
However, I very much understand to know that when there is a sign in front of me, it is best to listen well.
Speaking of sign, before Azure had come to us with those 3 assignments earlier, before we went off, I had gone to one of the temples here, specifically Erithus. My father is an Aasimar, not a human, and my mother is a tiefling. My father's mother directly is Erithus. And I also have learned of my mother's father as well. I can't speak his name, because that would be dangerous. The reason I hadn't told you, I didn't know what was going on up until recently, which was right before we had lost Buddha, but Azure had told me what I was, and that I'd have to be very, very careful about who I told about it. I am tiefling of appearance, but I am a Nephilim. And she'll just kind of like step back a bit so she doesn't get harmed, but she'll obviously change her form, halo and wings and all, but making sure she doesn't get blinded by it.
Yeah. As there is this witness, there's a slight awe to the face, and some focus to it, and then stare back at you to see this form.
He knew since I was a child, because back when I was little, my parents sought out help, because with Sav, he managed to access this power a little bit, and from there, when he separated me and Sav for the temporary time, he told my parents. But I had to appear normal in Acelsium, given that my whole existence is pivotal to the new laws in Acelsium.
I see.
Are you aware of the history behind this?
I am well and aware, at least to the inner circles that have been told to keep eye out whenever the circumstances we find irregular individuals with particular bloodlines.
I am also aware, thanks to Azure, but I am afraid of being perceived as a monster or anywhere similar to the one that had brought about Tiamat.
The history of Azoth is a very close to the chest, usually notable leaders and various individuals who have gone to study the rare instance of those who managed to cross between celestial and demonic. It is of no consequence to me to know this. I consider you an agent first and anything else second. Your life is important to me. While it does disappoint me greatly that you've decided to inform others before me,
They really didn't know either.
it is fine. What I am well and aware of, I have no intention of revealing this secret to anyone. What stays behind these doors will stay behind them.
Teacher will eventually drop the form for now.
But it is as Azure did say. There are definitely individuals out there who will see what you are as a tool, something to benefit them. I would not be
recognize me.
I'm sorry?
One did recognize me. The same one that had the sword. Which is Samael.
Samael.
He immediately deemed me a monster. So, safe to assume he knows.
I can imagine that somebody like him has various thoughts. It could either be beneficial or detrimental, but as an end result, I will inform you to note that his opinion should not affect how you perceive yourself, Citra.
No, and I don't, and ironically, with the whole situation on the train, that I oddly helped. I don't think that's what she meant, but Igwolf kind of pushed that whole situation.
Well then, I suppose this conversation can culminate to the notion of I will respect your privacy, but still inform you, as Azure did, that there is danger should people come to find out what you are.
I know. I'm sorry I withheld it, but I am glad I told you now, because right now, as you said, this is a very dangerous situation, and if you know all the cards, the better.
Any information right now is going to be extremely useful for whatever decision is going to be made in these next couple of days.
We went and spoke to Ignis earlier. Because Leo was having a hard time figuring out how to teach, and then he also not only helped us with that a little bit, but he did give us a stone of calling?
Yes.
Yeah, just in case of emergencies.
Powerful mage at your side in one of the schools that harbors many powerful mages will be very useful, but I also incline to say that make friends while you're there. Know who exactly is your friend and your enemy.
Yeah.
By the way, a quick question. What do you think of the name Malinka?
It's kind of cute. Kind of sounds tinkery.
Good to know.
Is someone pregnant?
No.
What am I to do with those? And she points at the shards for now. So I don't think taking him into the school is going to be a smart idea.
Quite honestly, I would keep them as close to you as possible.
Okay.
However, if they are to be forged under the moon and blessed by death...
Yeah, I figured out the two goddesses behind that one.
Yes, well... Perhaps blacksmithing might be a good course to take.
Okay. I've never been to a school, so I was not self-taught, but homeschooled.
Well, this will definitely be a learning lesson for all of us.
Yeah, Yeah, it is. I think the only one that seems confident enough about it is Dante.
Well, all things considered. Is that all?
For now, I think so. Thanks for hearing me out on this.
Very well. As the hand waves, you can see as the giant stone doors begin to part once more. Agent Idlewind, do be careful.
I'll do my best.
As you do, and you leave, you can still sense that there is a slight drabness to the library.
Like the library's emotions are tied to Haley's?
A little bit, yeah. As such, Dante, as you're kind of just strolling around with a lot of the information that you have now, you do come across with what looks like to be a very isolated Haley Luminari, as she's kind of just staring out into the boundless edge of what makes this entire place.
Haley, I haven't seen you out of your library. Well, at least since the last time. What's going on?
What did it feel like when you found out that you had a family?
Well, see, like, it just starts, like, trying to rub the back of his neck and trying to really think about it. Well, to be honest, I really didn't think my brother was going to be that much of an asshole. Or that I was a prince or anything like that. Still haven't met the rest of them, to be honest. But, I don't know, something felt different. Like, it wasn't the same feeling as if you said maybe Menos was down for the count, or Helbrum was out of money again, or Gala was, pitching up a fight with the ladies. It didn't feel the same. I didn't feel like I knew them at all.
"5,000 years I have been asleep. I have no father, I have no brother. My mother had long since passed. At least I can visit her grave. That's all I have left. And yet the thought that comes to mind is that if at least one of them are alive, perhaps maybe I can have a semblance of normalcy. Instead of just locking away everything into books. And what's worse is that I may not be able to even approach them.
What do you mean? Have they been banished somewhere or something?
You see, as there's a level of distinct, almost held back emotions on the face. Just the passiveness of the insight just gives you this heaviness. Would it be better just to not do anything at all?
Dante's gonna think for a moment. Were you close with your family, Haley?
My father, yes. I learned a lot about what I know about blood magic from him. He was an astounding scientist and artificer. My brother, on the other hand, he had more violent ideals. And I can't resent him, but I can't forgive him.
Well, take it from me. I've got a violent brother that I never knew. Maybe what you're seeking might be normalcy. But normalcy might not be what's best for you. And I know I'm not one to talk, a 26-year-old to a 5,000-year-old being. But sometimes normalcy is not what's best.
Perhaps you're right. As you can see, as one of the heavily gloved hands kind of just move under the glasses a bit. Perhaps what the actions will be taken no matter what we do.
Yeah.
And perhaps, right now at least, this is my new normal. At least the view is nice.
Haley, may I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you feel lonely upon these cloud tops?
It's a very particular question. But the feeling of loneliness yes. Sometimes I wonder if I should even be here at all.
Well, I hope you don't feel lonely amongst us.
And see, as the face finally turns, you can see the red eyes kind of just give slight way to tears. As it stares back out into the clouds, you can see as the body leans towards your general direction and just feel the comfort of you next to them.
Dante's just gonna reach an arm around her and pull her close. Two souls have known the same loneliness amongst the cloud tops.
And as sun finally sets to the south, and the rest of you begin to find yourselves slowly making your way back into your beds, home. You all awaken to a new day. As the week begins to progress and you all begin to prepare yourselves with whatever lessons may come, the new days begin to slowly pass as the week progresses forward. However, before we find out what happens next, we are going to take a quick 10-minute break.
Woo!
Woo!
Yeah!
Yeah.
Woo! That was actually a really good first part of the session, guys. I'm highly
Yeah.
impressed. All right.
Yep.
Well then, that being said, okay, we're gonna take a quick 10-minute break, get ourselves all together, get the emotions back inside, and then we'll see you right then. So see you guys in 10 minutes. Yeah! Break!
Woo!
we are back.
Hello.
Hello. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh, hit
So-
that low.
Oh. Oh. All right. Well then, let us jump back into game. As the week will continue on. However, there is one more scene that must be accounted for. As time and privacy finally allows it, as you, Citra, manage to walk up to a rather unbusy Dagex as he is probably finished with whatever work had become of him for the day. As he notices you, and you see he just takes a deep breath. Finally have time to discuss things.
Yeah, now that I got the other thing out of the way. She's like, kind of looked like she's just, whew, about it. Oh, Harleen knows.
I'm sure.
It was about time anyway.
As he goes and he kind of just puts the hand on the back and, like, leads you through and also walks you out into the main city. I don't know, everyone seems to be walking around town nowadays. Just kind of waiting for something, right?
I mean, waiting for something, sitting alone in a room versus being outside, and it sounds a little better.
Yeah. Besides, it's fresh air. It's a nice day out today. I think we're currently over the Bordean Sea.
We are? She's like, she hasn't looked over the edge in a while.
You kind of get an understanding of where you are after a while, but usually the Bordean Sea is kind of the major area around here.
I mean, as far as I know, all I knew is that the Bastion moved closer to Excelsior. That's it.
So, what it is you wanted to, I guess at this point get off your chest, considering all the madness.
Is it bad luck to know that essentially I've killed 2 brothers now? I had to help with Buddha's brother when he was brought back, and now I had to take down Sav, who is like an older brother. This almost feels curse-like.
I will... You can see that there's a, like, delay to the notion of that. I'll be 100% fair. I imagine, considering our line of work, we are prone to killing a lot of things.
I don't like it. She just kind of hangs her head.
Yeah, I can kind of tell that with you. With me, it's a lot easier.
Well, to be fair, I didn't think I'd wind up over here to begin with. You remember, I was just traveling, and then the whole thing with the dunes happened, and now I'm finding out that I was being looked after anyway by Azure the entire time. I'm both mad, confused, but also comforted. I'm so mad at him, though.
And kind of see his mood changes when Alouise gets brought up again. It's astounding how far the roots of that man goes.
I'll be fair about it. It wasn't something he did purely on his own, somehow just knowing. My parents did seek him out, but... It almost feels like I wound up on the dunes on purpose, despite luck or all.
As someone that very much understands the concept of destiny and fate and decisions that are often made for us, it is weird how a single thread that can be pulled through the mighty ether of this world always puts us right in the place where it would seem convenient.
Yeah.
But that's the thing about destiny and fate. The more we try to deny the path, the more we find ourselves on it.
I mean, I don't agree with a lot of things that we've been made to do, and I know we've made choices technically. I mean, at the end of the day, it brought me to you, and I've actually got my training in anyway. So I guess there are silver linings here and there. It's just, I don't like being violent.
I think not wanting to be violent and doing things out of necessity are two very different things. Imagine, if you will, just for a moment, how much Sov fought for your survival. What they are willing to do to keep you alive. And at this moment, I want you to put into consideration that anything that isn't contributing to that might be a bit of an insult.
I don't mean to. You're right. And she's just like, she's wavering between having the serious conversation and like, oh god, the overwhelming feels for a minute. Just like,
Yeah.
no, chill. Like the papping of the cheeks, like, I don't want to cry in the middle of the town.
Listen, I do value the notion that your pacifism is a wonderful thing about you. But you have to remember that there is an extent out there that there will be people that have full intention to kill you.
I'm aware.
And you have to decide whether or not, if you're going to prevent a future with somebody like that around, or that you're going to live with the consequences of them being around. One option sounds significantly easier than the other, but in practice is extremely difficult, depending on the person. Many people will judge you for your moral code. Trust you me, I understand why. But it's important to remember why you have that moral code, but also it's important to remember why somebody values your life as well.
That's true. I mean, I'm not gonna stray from this path. I mean, that would make everything that happened with Sav be meaningless. I think my issues, now that Sav isn't there, it's just everything feels a little messy. Like, I have access to all these other emotions now that I didn't have. I don't know how everybody else functions.
You just learn to use them in the right way eventually. Unfortunately, you might have the stunted capacity of understanding what those emotions might be.
Yeah, right as we're about to go undercover in a school.
if there might be a great place to learn about your emotions, that might be the place. Who knows?
Maybe. I've never been to a school. I just hope I don't mess this up.
I think I'll do fine. I mean, you've gotten this far without dying, so at least there's that.
Yeah, haven't died, but I've now also been kidnapped. That was a not so much fun situation.
Leodon was kidnapped too.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Look, everyone kind of has a fucking thing.
Yeah, this one was caused by my own grandfather.
Fucking really?
Yeah. The reason it took so long, it was all in my family drama. All of it.
Well, at least it's wrapped up, right?
Well, and she, lifts up the little Erithus, symbol. It is now. He threw this on the ground and she killed him. Erithus, I mean.
Nothing in this world like a woman scorned, I suppose.
Yeah, it's even worse when that one's a deity, I guess.
Any which way. I'm just glad that you are alive and safe. And with what's going to be happening next, let's just say I have some assurance to keep it that way.
Oh?
How does Philander sound as a name?
You are now the second person to ask me about names.
We're gauging ideas.
Philander?
Philander.
Philander. Okay, cool. Because originally it all sounded like philanthropy. And it was a little weird. Are you? She thinks about the mission for a minute there. Are you also going undercover?
No. Let's just say I will be an extremely watchful eye.
Well, that makes me feel a little bit better. And she just gives him a bit of a hug there.
Oh. And he kind of just full arm hugs back and... Well, any which way, I think we should probably get back.
Yeah.
He begins to kind of walk back. You can see there's a slight nervousness to him right now.
She just kind of looks up at him, she, again, just, are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. It's just, a thought in my head.
I mean, we still have time.
You guys are kind of just walking back to the EHS. I suppose it's just... In the time that I've come to know you, I really do care about you, so I just don't want you to get hurt. Or I just want you to be safe.
It takes her a second. And she has to look away for a minute there, just why do I feel odd for a second? Inner monologue. Again, feelings she's never felt before. That she's just kind of yeah. She'll just kind of take his hand and squeeze it I promise you I will be as careful as possible.
You could feel him slightly squeeze it back. That's good to know. It's good to know.
I mean, it's a school, so things can't abruptly just explode without a question.
And as you two walk down back into the EHS as the week comes to a close, as all of you are promptly and immediately prepared as the day has finally arrived where all of you will begin the process of moving into your new roles.
Oh boy. And so it begins.
Dawn of the final day. As the early morning begins to take place, and as all of you begin to make your way into the center portion, the four of you are handed outfits, as well as what looks like to be folders full of information and itineraries. As the first one goes to Leodon. You will be acting as an upper-class teacher known as Regin Silvestri. Reigen Silverstri. Silvestri. Professor Regin Silvestri. You'll be within the Botany and Druidic Studies department. To you, Bora.
Yep.
As you are handed your very specific outfit. By the way, every one of these outfits are very specifically designed. They are a verdant green with red accents and various purpley colors that often represent the colors of Wallenstein. Your outfit looks a little bit more militarized. You'll be going under the name of Ryuji Takano. You will be an upper-class teacher of the Combat Arts and Physical Training Department. Oh, to note, your headmaster or headmistress for the one that you will often be reporting to, headmistress of Botany is Catalina Bright. So that way you know, Leodon. And for you...
Can you repeat your name?
Oh no, that's for Leodon of Botany and Druidic Studies is Headmistress Catalina Bright. Your headmaster that you will be reporting to is Headmaster of Combat General Berngott Fulvander. Berngott Fulvander. As for the twins,
Oh boy.
The twins.
you will be known as Malinka and Philander Anders.
Oh my god. How do you spell those names?
So for
That's so
Citra,
fun.
you will be regarded as Malinka, Malinka. And for Dante, you will be referred to as Philander, Phullader. And Anders, AndYers.
Oh boy.
Philander Anders.
Yep. Philander Anders. And Malinka Anders.
Philander Anders.
Yep.
I understand that we get student outfits, but how is he appearing as her twin?
Oh, Dante. Being a changeling, you are very capable of transforming into another race. Just as long as the height differences aren't too wild. But being the male version of Citra is kind of interesting.
All right. Well, what's
She's
the?
just like,
So what's the? what's the details of what a male tiefling? Is it any different from a female tiefling? Are my horns different?
Given everything, you would probably say you're slightly taller, but you're kind of a copy and paste, only this time you could definitely tell there are far more masculine details that come along with how you believe a male version of Citra would be.
I'm totally drawing this for you.
Okay. Alright, so what I'm guessing is the horns aren't so curved, but they kind of like jut out a little bit and then back again.
Well, Citra's horns go straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah, hers go straight up, but I was thinking his go like a little forward and then back again.
So
like,
a
there's
little
an
like
angle to it.
Okay, so
yeah,
instead
like
of
that.
straight up, it goes lap. All right,
Yeah.
Enough variation to cause an idea of at least you could tell they're related.
Yep.
Yeah, and Dante's gonna be like, all right, Citra has been practicing this all week. I've been looking in books, and I'm and the tails isn't gonna look much different from Citra's.
No.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, just
this is probably the coolest thing I've seen, and it's kind of sweet. My mom kind of hoped she was gonna have twins at some point.
man, I really wish cell phones were a thing in this world.
Right?
Don't worry, I can draw it for us.
It's just stick figures.
Dante's more of a professional than that.
No, it's just the joke.
Yeah.
As you guys prepare with your new outfits and, of course, new body and appendage.
How does Leo take to now there being two of them?
This is getting ridiculous. Now there are two of them.
Oh no.
No.
And, of course, you will still have all your original equipment. Do not worry about that. However, the clothing and the outfits are to, of course, blend into the scenario.
Wait, I have a joke to make.
At this point,
Would you say that me and Citra are infernal twins?
If Dante actually says that, and then I sign out. I'm kidding. No, if Dante actually says that, I think C should be in tears laughing.
I'm gonna go
Does
for
our identities tied to? Does it list our race as well?
What do you mean by that?
Like going in, do they know what race we are?
Yes. So
Except for Dante.
Well, the easiest thing to do was to create a scenario where it's just twin tieflings. So at least from this aspect, it made things a little bit simpler. And especially for Dante, who only needs to, change once and not have to worry about it again. In this scenario, as you can see, many of the members of the Wallenstein EHS all kind of just look far more impressed than usual.
Yeah. The only thing Citra's doing is fidgeting because this outfit is very strange.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't like
And
it.
you can see as Helen comes walking over. Yes, don't fidget, darling. It took me forever to put these pieces together.
I'm not gonna break it, it's just I don't wear this. It feels weird.
Yes. Well, one could imagine well, at least it looked great on me. You could see, as for what is a halfling woman.
I mean, I can definitely agree. It's just different. I mean, you've seen what I usually wear. It's nice, it's just not me.
It's quite restricting.
Yeah, well, and you can see it's just like the halfling woman is just like, bend down a bit, just a bit, like a little closer.
She does.
Dante, like here.
Yeah, Dante leans forward.
Yeah, and you can see as like the hand comes up to the tie and just tightens it a bit more. Yeah. Keep it in, keep it tight.
I can't breathe.
Teacher's just like partially like scratching at her neck, like this is gonna be weird. But yep.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
I'm a monk. This is a lot.
As you can see, as your special director, she's just like looking and like leaning towards Dagex. Are you sure this is gonna work? Like, I have done a lot of forging. It's gotta work.
But Philander's Anders?
It's a name.
Sure is.
Dante, we can't exactly go in with our normal names.
Yeah. Well, the reason why we went with Anders is because it's actually one of our, well, I guess, planted royal within the Congress, so it's kind of notable to say that at least you guys will fit in without ever having to worry about somebody looking for parents, and if they do, we could just send down the special director for that. You can see as the eyes immediately dart over to Dagex. I mean, you got the whole motherly, and you can see as the eyes almost narrow even further.
She'll hold her hand up. She's got the obvious guardian appearance.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. And you can see as Harlene's just like...
I mean, you're a paladin. Guardian? Not that far of a throne. She's just like quietly trying to save Dagex.
Dante.
Well, you could tell he was going to say something other.
Well, we'll be sure not to make Mother mad.
As the eyes immediately dart onto you, Dante.
Citra's trying not to laugh at this point because you just screwed up.
Dante just stifling his laughter.
Dante, we're not supposed to die before the mission starts at least.
Very well. Right. I don't know how long all of you will be undercover, but as soon as you manage to find Alois Azure, and for whatever reason that he intends to keep off the grid, find out immediately. Do not come back unless it is with him.
You got
Understood.
it.
In the meantime, we have the grand total benefits of having at least 1 or 2 agents still on the ground. And we've managed to at least reopen one of the transportation circles, so if something goes awry, you'll know exactly where to go and how to get back.
Alright.
Furthermore, all reporting is going to be done through Dagex. I'm sure he'll be checking in every so often, but do not depend on him to help you with anything else. If something goes absolutely terribly wrong, you are to escape back here post-haste.
Alright.
Understood.
Escape, slip out, got it.
Understood.
I have faith in you, Azure Crest. Come back home.
We will.
You got it.
Right then. Now, forward to the teleportation rooms.
Does she look like she's about to cry?
You can see that there is... Well, as far as insight can tell you, there is this heavy burden on her face. Because this is the first time, without Alois Azure, is she flying blind. This is a level of unsured intent that has not given... There's no information. There's nothing that she can do. This is the most dangerous thing she could possibly do. You can tell that weight is on her face greatly.
Yep.
As all of you slowly make your way into what are the teleportation rooms, that giant open circle of a room with the many, many doors. Let's see here. As all of you enter this small room, and you feel the slight buzz of the wide circle beginning to create this arcane energy and pull, as that familiar feeling as you have felt many times before going through these circles, as it is pulled through your chest and you're driven through the ether before a flash of light, before you are all somewhere else.
Here we
The
go.
first time coming back to Kilixmeyer in months. As you guys exit out a door, you smell a familiar smell, actually. And, in fact, a familiar face. As you leave out through the shop with what looks like to be that coffee shop near the Congress of Alfor.
Oh, hey!
Ah, La Noir.
Ah, well, I was hearing that at least somebody would be coming through the door, but I did not think that it would be all of you. And, well, I recognize at least 2 of you. 3 of you. One of you not so familiar.
Oh, Dante.
Oh,
Well then, keep in mind, whatever is happening is back there. Shush.
Yep.
It is always good to know at least some friends are willing to at least get someone out of a bad situation. Took quite a while to get that teleportation circle up, but we're trying to at least keep things on the down low.
Understood.
Travel through the streets
man, I knew
carefully.
you worked with the criminal organizations. I didn't know you worked with the EHS as well.
Well, I mean, half of it is a benefit because of you, Master Dante.
The teacher just looks at him like, oh?
Well, yeah, you was the one that was able to get at least some members of the House of Sahanin in order to establish at least this place of refuge, and I've managed to keep up pretty good appearances throughout the city, even with members of the Congress of Alfor and even the House of the High Lords. Nobody could ever suspect, a simple coffee maker.
Alright, well, thank you, Maurice.
No problem. Well then,
Try to make it back in one piece.
I really do hope so. Well then, students, professors, good luck at Dawining Academy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wait, Dante's gonna, remember the last time they were there and exactly what they saw. He's gonna run out the shop really quickly.
Yeah, all the people stone.
Yep. As you come out to what is this very early, it's barely almost the dawn of a new day. You can still see it's dark. It's like 6 a.m. at winter for you guys in this notion.
Teacher's
It's like 6 a.m., but it's dark and cold.
I don't like this weather. Nope.
As
Still don't.
you can see that all the stone statues that have been created from the stonemaker have long since either been moved or cured.
I'm guessing it worked.
I would say this was a very gruesome space before.
Oh boy.
Glad that at least it's cleared out now.
Yeah, right. Oh, thanks to Honey. Thank the 2 guys who helped me out. Alright,
Dante.
well,
Time to head
Well-
to school.
Time to go to school. I fucking always hated school.
Alright. As all of you slowly make your way through what you can definitely tell is a strange notion, as you can see walking through the town. By the time you hit some of the main streets, you notice that there are various individuals cladded in armor, either it being the Verdant Guard or it being the Arcanites that have come to just now strictly pervade this entire area.
Teacher's just gonna keep her head tucked down a bit there, because she still remembers the one guard that she scared the piss out of.
As the lot of you begin to traverse throughout the city, and you begin to see with what is that large tower that stands not too far from where the Congress and House of the High Lord is. You can see just several streets over what is that large, towering Dawining Academy that make up the Tharum Scholars. As you begin to pass, you can see as one of the Verdant Guards come up to the lot of you. Excuse me?
Yes?
Sorry. Students enter through the south side, and professors are heading through the east side entrance. Were you just taking your students with you, or... As he's pointing towards Leodon as well as Bora.
Alright. Well, Dante want to make a deception check?
They're talking to Leodon and Bora as
we're kids.
Professors.
What? Let's see. Does Bra have his practice sword?
You have your actual sword with you. You have all your actual equipment with you.
Oh, good. My tailback's still there.
Yeah.
And can you repeat the question you asked again?
He's asking. It's like, are you taking your students with you through the east gate, because they have to enter through the south gate, and professors have to enter through the east gate for orientation?
Of course.
We were just discussing some things, and we were going to break off before we entered the building. You understand?
Perfectly fine, Professor. By all means, and he goes over to the two students. Much apologies to you two, but the entrance will be to the south side. Just walk out to the center. You'll make it to the major foyer. Are you attending here for your first season?
Yes, sir.
Yep,
Fantastic.
This is our first semester.
Fantastic. It's good to know that there are at least older students willing to learn something new. As he kind of kindly gives you directions for the students, and then after which he's like, well then, that being said, professors, would you allow me to escort you to the gates?
Of course.
Teacher's just looking at Liam, but like, bye-bye. Like, oh god, here we go.
Dante, as he's giving two
Leo
thumbs
mouths.
up.
Leo mouths. Beat up.
Yeah, it's like, you ever get that feeling of your stomach's about to drop as you're looking over the edge of a roller coaster? Like that.
It's amazing what a
The
good...
groups have split.
It's amazing what a good disguise can do.
Yep.
He's like, Dante looking down to teacher. Well, sister, shall we? To the orientation.
Of course, brother. She's trying not to laugh at that one.
Alright. So as the party being split off, as you two begin to see what looks like to be a small flow of brand new students making their way into the academy. And as for our professors, as you guys are walking in with the very handful that make their way in, you both have different sights beginning to see, but end up in a similar location. As you professors begin to walk up the very long stairs to what is this multi-seated banister that kind of makes out to what is this giant and ultimately entranced foyer as a very large group of students being split off based off of their age and classes. You are all aware that you are going to be upper class, which is basically the a college student's version of freshman year.
Yeah.
And as for the professors, you guys are being put off into what looks like to be a couple of brand new professors, and across the other side of this giant open banister that looks down into that foyer is what looks like to be older professors who have been here for a very long time. As the center area, as you can see, with what looks like to be several very well-standing individuals. What you can see is at least a female tiefling, a male gnome, and a female kenku in what looks like to be one specific spot. You'll notice a female human, a male halfling, a female human, two female humans, a female firbolg, and as well as a male Luxodon, as they look like that they are kind of cornered off into their very greenish-looking design, as you get a feeling that this might be the botany class. To you, what you can obviously see are probably the more rougher and tougher versions. You can see a male Goliath, a half-orc, a Leonin, which is very lion-based design, a male tiefling, and what looks like to be a female human. And these ones are heavily armored, but you can see this Goliath individual with what are these massive multi-plated pauldrons that come down to the arms, and the balded, hairless figure, as well as those various tattoos that make up a Goliath. You can tell that this one kind of stands at the top of this whole group. You can see on the on another end with what looks like to be are probably a little bit more scholarly designs. What looks like to be a female high elf, or two female elves. What looks like to be a halfling, an air genasi, a dragonborn, as well as a warforged. As many of you know, warforged here in this world are Lumerians. Just their souls have been implanted into a robotic body.
Mm.
And as well as what looks like to be another group of individuals, probably a little bit more sciencey, those with kind of just like lab coats and various vials and whatnots and knickknacks kind of just on their person. You could kind of see that their thoughts are kind of everywhere else that isn't here, but you can kind of tell that, you know, the more nerdy group, you can see what look like to be a male human, a female earth genasi, a female Luxodon, a male half-elf, a male dwarf, and what looks like to be a somewhat ambiguous human. It's hard to tell. And lastly, as there is the one last section that kind of just gives off what looks like to be those who have more magical properties, this being the magic and mage department. You can see what is a female high elf that stands in front of the rest, a dragonborn, male dragonborn, a female dwarf, a male human, a female gnome, as well as what looks like to be another a female human. And as well as what looks like to be various other small staff and individuals that kind of make up the rest of the school. And as well as what looks like to be... No. Yeah. That kind of just makes up all of the major staff and individuals. As things come to a culmination as you can feel like the sounds of younger individuals and students. As you two, down into the crowd, you notice that there are a small split of individuals as they're kind of being separated from person to person. And by the time you two are come up, and you can see what looks like to be this tiefling woman with what is this greenish skin and almost slightly faded yellow eyes, but you can still see the irises as they come off as a slightly foresty green to them.
Ooh.
And they're kind of just wearing with what looks like to be a very standard outfit as they see the two of you. Oh, nothing. And you two are...
Anders, Valinka, and Philander. She got it. Philander.
As they kind of just go through some of the papers. There you two are. Okay. Alright, so, just wanted to give you your itinerary as she hands you both a piece of paper. You guys will be taking what is general history, mathematics, and common language arts. You'll both be taking the botany and combat arts in order to kind of what seemingly is a planned effort to keep you guys together as much as possible.
I don't think we need insight on that one.
However, Citra, you will also be taking magic and magecraft. And for you, Dante, you'll be taking realm history and extra realm observation.
Realm history and what realm observation?
An extra realm observation.
Realm.
EXTRREALM. Extra realm.
Observation.
Yes.
Oh, so spy.
And as per your extracurriculars, you'll be taking Citra, you'll be taking blacksmithing, and for you, Dante, you'll be taking painting.
Aww. Back to painting he goes.
Yay!
I just love that the little offhand moment on the train is making its way back.
So, as you both are giving your itineraries for what to expect during your time here, and you can see as the bright face of this wonderful female tiefling woman as she finally hands off your piece of papers. All right, and you'll be standing with the upperclassmen over there.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem. I cannot wait to see what you two do.
Me too.
If we can combine our forces, we can create cursed armor.
What?
Wait, that would just be you. Cursed paintings.
Okay.
Oh, God. And with that, as the last of the students come shuffling in, and you can see with what looks like to be what are the youth years, the mid years, the underclass years, the upper class years, and the scholar classes. This is all by determination of both age and range of capacity for individuals. So as you can see, there's just like a long, obvious line of people of where they're going to be going and what to attend to.
Can Citra and Dante see if they can spy the little girl that we're trying to save as well? The little tiefling? And we didn't have like a talk about that, but I'm pretty sure it's crossed our minds.
Oh, I'm sure it has. So here's the thing. Your guys' passive perception, you can tell everyone that is here is either staff or brand new students.
Ah, got it.
So it's been quite a while. If you're trying to find this individual, even with your passive perceptions, neither of you would be able to find them here.
Got it.
Oh. Well, doesn't seem like she's here.
No, but she's probably been here a while now, so...
Well, luckily I have the draft in my pocket.
You do?
I have the draft in my pocket, right? I got it from Helen. Yeah, I do. Okay, yes. Yeah, so whenever we find her, we can administer it.
I mean, if she's here, she might have gotten help, but that is a good note.
So, as you guys are kind of just conversing among yourselves,
Just two very close siblings talking to each other.
Yeah. Burra and Leodon, as you guys are kind of just sitting at the top of these banisters, and you can see one of the individuals kind of lean in. What is this male tiefling as he walks over to the two of you? All right. Brand new year of students, and also some brand new professors as well.
I know, interesting, right?
We're not down there.
No, he's talking to Leodon and Burra.
Is he a student?
Sorry.
Yeah. What is you can tell this is this tiefling man is a very deep blue color with what is these horns that kind of almost come out and then round and twist this direction. As you can see with what looks like to be these silvery white eyes and these the same robes that you're wearing, Burra, which is the combat teacher's outfit. Yeah. Well then, I am excited for some brand new meat for our classes, aren't you?
New meat.
I like the way you talk, funny man.
Sure.
As you can see, he immediately kind of turns his back towards Leodon, and he goes to shake your hand, Burra. Fargun Blackfang.
Bro Watson. So...
No.
Oh, I mean, bruh. You did
Bruh.
good. Yeah, bruh. That is some good shit right there, my dude. Real name is Ryuji. Ryuji. I'm sorry. Sometimes I'm in my own little universe. Filled with
Leodon
beating the
just
shit out of my students.
did Leodon just facepalm?
Not
There
5
might
minutes
have been,
into
like-
this goddamn mission.
It might have been like the sound of glass shattering. That was.
You see, but yeah, bro. You, how so?
Is that how you like introduce yourself to each other from where you're from?
You know it, bruh.
Bruh. Bruh.
I'm dying.
Bruh.
I'm dying.
I'm assuming
You know, like bruh,
Yeah.
like brother.
Yeah.
Come on, say it with me, bruh,
Bruh.
bruh.
Bruh. Okay. I'm assuming
Okay.
it's like a Yimnin thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell by the way some of your armaments kind of give way to that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And a very particular sword you could only find in Yimnin, or those who trained in Yimnin, and the fact that our expansive look into trying to find more teachers that are beyond our own realm here.
I got a very
nice to know.
important question to ask.
Yes.
If I say dodge and try to punch the students, I won't get in trouble for it, right? It's all part of the training, right?
I mean, considering that the students you're training are probably well and up for the task, I imagine.
Bitching! Bro
yeah.
walks over
See, as
to
this
the
tiefling man,
terrace.
this teacher is like getting more and more confused as he's talking to you.
Bro walks over to the nearest student!
No, it's like they're all down there. You're up at the top of the banister here.
Bro
like,
goes to the nearest student!
as None of them are near. They're like 50 feet down, my
Bro
god.
goes in, bro teleports to the nearest student.
God.
Bro teleports to the nearest student.
Why do you want to punch each student?
Why?
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Yes, anyways, you'll be teaching your...
This shit is burnt.
You'll definitely be teaching how to make them prepared for combat in the future. Our military is definitely second to none when it comes to the students that we train here. So, a bit of time and, teaching them proper respects to a teacher will be definitely important.
Oh my god, are you just gonna rub this into Dante and Citra?
No.
Because
You can
we are
see-
gonna be learning with you.
As the man turns the other which direction, and you are tall.
He catches just the faintest glimpse of an incredibly pained expression before settling back down.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to offend. It's just what.
No, not at all. No offense at all. Reagan Silvestri, at your service.
Who will you be teaching? Or what classes are you teaching this year?
Botany and nature.
Well, then you are going to have a wonderful time with Catalina Bright. She is one of the foremost researchers, especially when it comes to the discovery of particular spores. At least that's what she has been teaching for years here.
I'm sure she is quite bright.
Yes. Well then, in ever the case, should I ever cross you two in the faculty, I would love to catch up on anything in particular, especially you, Master Ryuji, Professor Ryuji.
Yep. Just take me to the stints.
Yes. Oh, and we must discuss combat tactics. I'd much like to learn from your homeland.
Oh, totally, my dude. Totally, bruh.
Fantastic. Absolutely, bruh.
Yep, totally, bruh.
Well then, I look forward to us getting to know each other very well throughout the year.
You know her, bruh.
All right. Well then, orientation is going to start soon. See you all in a moment. As you can see, he walks off, and you can see whatever this interaction was for him.
Bye.
This is so fucking funny.
Oh my god.
It is such a sin that Dante and Citra didn't see any of this, or at least
Yep.
hear it.
Now to look for...
Leo grabs Bra and pushes him against the wall. What are you doing?
What? I just want to teach them the values of...
It has been 5 minutes, and you nearly blew your own cover.
But I recover that cover, though.
Now you have him saying Bra, your real name.
What? Bro, can be expression, dude.
He's really leaning into it.
What, you never heard of bro in other places?
Not in my travels.
Dude, you really need to get out more. But yeah, nothing to worry about, bro. Bro,
I have been a part of a nomadic tribe for 50 years.
and you never encounter anyone who said bruh.
Oh my god. So this is why Leo hangs out with Citra for his own mental health.
I have done something amazing as a DM.
Bruh. Look, since we're gonna be teaching be stressful. You know, since in the last time you managed to use some grass, so
That was a dire scenario, and I would have died if I didn't.
Bruh, teaching kills a lot of people.
What?
In terms of their mental health. In terms of their mental health.
This has the same
Okay, that's
energy
different.
as
Is
do
Bro
you
pulling out?
benefit from a book by reading from it?
But yeah, let's go meet the little students. Yeah.
This wouldn't be Russ'
Orientation's
first
not even
time
over.
training trainees, wouldn't it?
He was about to, yeah. But yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do to my students.
Teach them?
I'm going to laugh
Yeah!
if you wind up having to teach Dante and Citra.
Yeah.
Remember, in
Brett
order
is
to
gonna
keep this up, we need to not get fired.
Look, bruh, it's okay. Trust me.
As you two are having this very intense conversation, as you're kind of just pinning him up to the wall,
Can we see this?
as a female elven individual walks over towards the two of you. Excuse me.
Immediately snaps to attention.
Rating.
Yes, hello. How can we be of assistance?
As you look, Leodon, I need you to make a history check.
10.
10. His face looks so familiar to you in a weird
Rating.
way.
Wait, what's a rating?
10.
Oh my god.
As all
She's a
else
10.
really are. But this one...
Hey, that's what I rolled.
this one
Hey,
seems
they
odd.
don't lose
This
their
is-
charm just because they're old.
This is very familiar of a face. One that you've probably seen in your dreams.
Oh no.
Oh.
My apologies to the two of you, but there is at least a code of conduct we must exemplify while we are in front of our students.
Yes.
Understood.
What happened to be your names again?
Ryuji.
Raygon.
Ryuji, Raygon. I am Zablina Othard. I am the headmistress of the Extra Realm Studies. Keep in mind that this is a...
Headmistress?
Yes.
Headmistress, eh?
You can see as the eye kind of bats towards you and... Please, remember, Dawining Academy is a place not only just to learn, but also a place where we learn how to be respectful. That is all. She passes
Hey,
through the
so
both of you.
my associate and I are pretty hungry right now, so how about you join us for lunch?
As she passes through the both of you and looks back.
Okay, see you later! Maybe you'll get...
She looks back towards you both. Maybe. If time allows for it.
So there's a yes! Oh my god.
As she leaves towards the rest of the group. Okay.
Oh my god.
I'm absolutely eating up
See?
what the fuck
See?
you do with bro.
See? We're perfectly fine.
Leo wipes some blood from his nose.
Why are you bleeding from your nose?
I don't know.
You should really get that checked out. Anyway, let's go meet
He's
our
having an
students.
aneurysm, that's why.
Orientation hasn't started. Alright. As a lot of you, after... As a lot of you, as finally the students have finished in their filings, as you two have finished your little confrontation. Oh, God. an individual walks out through what looks like to be that large arched door that leads out to this banister. As the doors open, you can see with what looks like to be this very outstanding looking half-elven man. Clean-shaven, somewhat a little older. You can probably see he's maybe pushing his mid-60s, but for any elven individual as they age, they become more beautiful in time. As he stands there, and you can see what looks like to be that a particular kind of hat dressing that most of the headmasters all seem to kind of have their own design, but this one's very clean. It kind of just folds back, along with pure white robes with the small variant colors that create this nation's colors just kind of over the heart, and what is that large chain that swings to the other side of the vestment. As he looks towards all the teachers and then down to the rest of the students. Welcome, all of you, to Dawining Academy. I am Headmaster Julius Osborne. I am the one that will be overseeing the next year, as many years beforehand. But before we get into discussing what you will be looking forward to while being a part of the Academy, I would like to introduce two of our brand new teachers. As he points towards you, Leodon, and Bora. Ryuji Takano will be acting as our upper class teacher for combat arts and physical training. His skills from the far west are unmatched and are going to be extremely useful for those looking to find a new method when it comes to their combative skills, and hopes that you might learn what to expect for next year should you desire to take the General's class. And next up is Regin Silvestri, a wonderful teacher with an experience boundless and had written many a book about the local flora and fauna here within Wallenstein. His ideas in druidic magics are often discussed about. So please, be kind to your brand new teachers within these classes, and make sure to always keep the utmost respect for them. Furthermore, as you can see here are many of the headmasters and mistresses that you will be looking to, in ever the case that you might find yourselves lost in your studies. First off, we have the headmistress of Botany and Druidic Studies, Catalina Bright. We have our headmaster of Combat in General, Combat and Physical Training, General Bergengart Fulvander. Our extra realm history and realm observation is Zablina Athar. Excuse me as I move my notes. Our headmaster of magical sciences and artifice, Moriarty Montgomery. See as the human male gives bow to it. And last but not least, our headmistress of magic and magecraft, Alicia Hythianos. As the high elf woman gives a slight bow, and you all begin to slightly clap as the students kind of follow along. Last but not least, should you find yourselves in a situation where you find being injured, or in any of the case where you might need magical healing, we do have medical staff, and it is good to remember the names and faces. First off is Dr. Ray Finecane. As you can see, this giant Minotaur man comes out from under the door with what looks like to be a beard that goes on forever, and what looks like to be a lab coat that kind of just barely fits him.
History check for if we're also Minotaurs in the event.
You would know that there have been minotaurs to travel here and there throughout Yimnin. There have been some that have been very violent, and given your nature for what your house was, you've often defended against those who have been a little bit more wild than usual. But there are many who like to prefer a more regimented life, and there were a few within your house that you would consider as respectful soldiers. At least that being a part of your general history. As another one, a female human approaches, Dr. Donna Saccone. And last but not least, Dr. Andre Yamel. As a male elf kind of approaches, a very dark-skinned male elf. It is best to know the desire to learn while you are here is far greater than the desire to just meander throughout the world. You often hear stories of adventurers and bards who often sing of those great purpose, but great purpose comes with proper learning, proper training. You will find yourself of great use here, and the lessons you will learn are far greater. Learn to hone those skills that you all have. Learn the desire of wanting to experiment and learn to take risks. And for those who are young, it will be some time before you'll see your parents, but they are welcome to visit whenever they so freely do. But learning to hone those magical abilities, those skills, will make you endlessly useful, not just only to this nation and school, but to those around you in the future. That being said, I thank you all, my staff, my faculty, and to you students, and welcome to Dawining Academy. As he says this, you can see with what looks like down in the main foyer with what looks like these giant, massive oaken doors as they... what leads into this massive, beautiful courtyard. And for you, the staff, as you see as everyone begins to kind of shuffle their way out into what is that upper floor for the courtyard. You see what is this massive, beautiful fountain of designed stone of what looks like to be 4 almost beautiful humanoid figures that kind of lack features. Oddly enough to you, Dante, one of them seems... it comes off as familiar as to how changelings look.
Oh.
And as everyone shuffles their way and finds what will be their places within this very strange and brand new chapter, you can see Bora. A certain eye kind of falls on you.
Perception? Can I roll perception?
Your past perception will give you more than enough to see it.
Thank you.
You can see what looks like to be one of the doctors, one of the medical staff, Dr. Donna Saccone, as she's looking at you.
Grog gives her the rank and the finger gun.
Oh my god.
You can immediately see she has grown tired of your expression and quickly turns as she pulls out with what looks like to be 2 large spectacles and puts them onto her face before entering into what is this large, this larger area.
What? She was looking at me.
We'll be finding out with what's going to be happening over the course of this time a little later. But that all being noted, welcome to Dawining Academy, everyone.
Oh boy.
Your mission begins today.
Oh, I can't wait.
And with that, that's where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's episode.
Oh boy. Woo! The real question is Leo's mental state gonna survive this?
Nope.
I don't think it will.
I am going to be a Hellraiser in this arc, and no one can stop me.
Oh, I'm gonna love it. I was just hoping that you would pull out a book that's about teaching that says 1 in every 10 teachers will die because of their teaching abilities.
God. Oh man, the cover stories are great, by the way. I haven't told you what those are. Oh boy. So, that being noted, we're gonna go ahead and end tonight's episode. Before we jump off, we're gonna do some relatively quick announcements. First off, I have been extremely delayed in taking care of some stuff. But I am still trying to stream as much as I can throughout the week. It's been a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, but I'm trying to find time to spend it with friends, and hopefully in due time, might be able to take care of some more stuff. I do have some videos planned, hopefully in the coming month. It's just been very busy. And I also have some sound effect design work to do, especially for good Daito here, that I just need to wrap up on. But yeah, as far as I am aware, pretty much anything that is going to be out on time will be out in time. So that's it from me. Blue, how you now?
I am having a fucking blast watching Buddha fucking lose his shit. Just trying to cover for, oh shit, I said the wrong thing for the first 5 minutes of this mission.
But he covered up nicely. He covered it up. That's what matters.
But anyway,
that's what matters. And now everyone's going to be saying bruh.
Anyways,
his whole class.
Hi, I'm Blue, or Blue Kazanate. Both you can find me on Twitch and Twitter by that name. It's gonna be interesting seeing Seacher in the schooling situation, but outside of that, still playing in C4 over on Burnout Vaughn's channel. It's gotten real dramatic lately. So if you want to go check those out, those are actually recorded live as we're streamed live and then posted up on the YouTube channel. So if you want to go check those out, you can absolutely go see them. Otherwise, you can see it live on Friday nights. Other than that, my commissions have been finished, so my commissions are back to being open. If you're interested, you can send me a DM over on Twitter. Or if we use the old magic of DeviantArt. But I have to admit, it's there. It's still there. It's still there. I also have
Still there.
more art to do now for Aaron for future videos, and I'm just gonna have fun with that one. So, other than that, I'm gonna toss it over to Connor. Have fun! Connor? Oh no, he died.
He just couldn't handle Bros Riz. Oh, there he is.
Hi.
I couldn't hear you.
Hi. I'm Distortion Devil. You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, and YouTube.com/Distortion Devil. I stream Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Yeah. That's about it.
Alrighty. Next up is Jade.
Hey, it's Jade the Firefox. I play Dante, the Changing Rogue Paladin. Commissions are still currently closed. I'm finishing up Daito's commission, and then from there I'll be able to open up if I do again. And you could, I don't know, send me memes on Tumblr.
Alrighty. And last but not least, my good friend, Daito.
Yo, this is Daito, aka bro, I mean Ryuji, the half-orc samurai. For me, dropping new episode of KWC involving Miracle over on my channel, Dachi. Also follow me on Twitter at Dachi6. As for streaming, trying to get back into streaming. I didn't stream last week because I was focused on the Game Jam, which I finished, but it's whatever. And that's about it for me.
Alrighty. Well then, all things put together, everything wrapped up.
Yup, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Oh god. Next 10 episodes are gonna be amazing, you guys.
I don't think my cheeks are gonna survive and be laughing too much.
Yeah.
Alright. That being said, to all of you, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to, hug your best friend, call your mother, drink some water. And we love you so very much. And as always, see you next Sunday.
Bye.
Good night, everyone.
See
Bye.
you next Sunday.
Leaders.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.